Welcome to KQEG and Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Harrison. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Well, today the spotlight shines bright on the Crosse Loggers, one of the most successful baseball franchises in this country. Our guests today, Judkins and Jordan Holladay. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
As we tape the show here on July 3rd, you've just come from a big win last night, Mankato. You're on a two-game winning streak now. You beat Rochester, home for the 5 of the next 6 days. Plenty of games throughout July and into August. So you're settled into lacrosse. Part of this show is to get to know you up close and personal. So starting with Grant from a little town called Pella, Iowa.
Yeah.
That's where you grew up. So you started playing baseball, obviously, as a youth. Let's go back to that early exposure into playing baseball.
I actually grew up in Marshalltown, Iowa, which is about an hour from Pella. So I lived there up till my high school, and then I moved to Pella. So just growing up, I played with the Little League, and I played travel baseball, and just kind of learned to love the game when I was young.
So certainly your skills were recognized when you're early. You come from a baseball family, brothers played ball, dad, and so on. So it was kind of a natural thing for you to get into baseball. Was there somebody that really inspired you when you were very young?
I'd say just growing up around the game, watching my older brothers and my dad play, even in the backyard, I just learned that baseball was for me, and I loved it from an early age.
So, but in high school, you were a multiple sport athlete?
Yeah, I played basketball and baseball, and then I played football until I was a junior, and I quit so I could focus on baseball.
Okay. And, of course, from South Carolina, the Gamecocks, I'm sure your skills were obvious when you were very, very young. Let's go back to when you started playing as a young baseball player.
I remember playing baseball as long as I've been living, really. Started before T-ball. I'm sure when I was probably 1 or 2, my parents had a bat in my hand. But I've been playing ever since. I've had a lot of my cousins in AAA right now with the Mets, and just a lot of baseball in my family.
So did you come from a baseball family then, beside your dad and brothers, sisters, athletes?
My brother plays baseball in Sumter High School, but my dad played football. But, I mean, I've had 2 cousins, one's playing right now in South Carolina, and one's in AAA, and really all my cousins have played baseball.
Well, your bio is pretty darn impressive, too, Jordan Holladay. You were all-state. You had a lot of accomplishments as a high school athlete. I mean, you were probably one of the better players that ever came from that high school. And so let's go back to some defining moments with you as a high school athlete.
Well, it was just really following the footsteps of many baseball players from Sumter High. Matt Price, that also went to South Carolina, he's from there, and Jordan Montgomery, he also went to South Carolina. He's with the Yankees right now. As if you're a Yankees fan, you obviously know that. But, you know, as far as high school, my coaches were great. Matt Price even coached me my senior year, so it was a very good experience coming from a baseball town, a baseball high school.
And looking at your bio too, Grant, 2016 Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior, MVP. You had records in strikeouts and hitting, ranked the highest in terms of baseball player nationally by Perfect Game, that website. And so you won 28 games as a high school player. You were all conference. You just did everything, and you certainly achieved more than maybe even what you thought.
Yeah, definitely. Going in, I didn't really have expectations on how the season would go, and I just worked hard and went out there and played hard every day, and I was rewarded for it.
Well, let's talk about back to when you were recruited. I'm sure there were a lot of schools that wanted you to come there, both of you. Well, starting with you, Grant, let's go through that recruiting process. How did you make your mind up to go to Iowa?
So basically growing up, I was always a Hawkeye fan. I loved Iowa athletics, and so I kind of had my mindset going into it, but I mean, I got talked to by different schools around the area, but basically from when Iowa started talking to me, I was set that I was going to go there.
So no one else even you didn't take anybody else serious, in other words?
I took other schools into consideration, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking Iowa from the start.
So, and Jordan, too, I'm sure back to Sumter High School, and your skill set, and I'm sure that was recognized by a lot of schools in that area.
I had an early commitment, and so I was a Gamecock fan. My grandmother went to USC. Both my parents went to USC. So born and raised Gamecock. So obviously that's where I wanted to go. So when they offered me my sophomore year, that was my first and only offer. I took it right away.
So that early?
Yes. As
a sophomore, you had already made up your mind?
Yes.
How about your transition from high school to becoming a Gamecock? Was that a difficult thing?
I wouldn't say difficult, but I would definitely say a learning experience.
What was the most difficult part?
In high school, the practices are a little different, but going to USC, the practices are very structured. You got to give credit to my coaches for that. Everything is done with a purpose, and you want to get better in every single aspect of each individual drill. So,
and the transition from Pella, Iowa to Iowa, University of Iowa, challenge for you?
It wasn't too bad. I'd say the hardest part was just the difference in the game from high school to college. It's a lot faster. Everyone's throwing hard. People can hit. It's just a whole different game, and so the first year was just a learning experience for me.
And what about the life of a D1 athlete? A lot of young people are intrigued by, even people like me, like what it takes to become certainly an accomplished athlete, an elite athlete, Division I, but the life, the expectations, and trying to get your studies in, all the travel, practicing, and so on. Is that a challenge?
Yeah, there's a lot of high expectations for you to not only go out and compete at the highest level, but also try to maintain good grades at the same time. Basically, you're busy all the time, whether you go to practice or games, and then you come home, you do homework. It's a grind, but it's a lot of fun. Grades,
though, I mean, I'm sure that there's tutors and there's monitoring at the Division I. Well, there's even monitoring at the D2 and D3 level, but perhaps even more intense at NC2A expectations of D1 athletes.
Yeah, they have advisors looking after you. If you need help in a class, they'll get you signed up with a tutor. You can ask questions. They have the resources there to help you, but it's pretty difficult.
Take us through a Gamecock practice. I mean, you're probably working out all fall too, and getting ready for the spring season. But the intensity level and the way it's organized.
So we get there, and most people get there probably 30 minutes early, or maybe an hour. And a lot of people hit before we even start practice, so you have your own personal early work. If you want to hit off a tee, front toss, or off a machine, we have those available. And then we go down to the field and we stretch. And then we, most of the time, start off with defense. And with those, we'll do ground balls, the basic stuff. And then we'll go more into a drill like 27 outs, where you get 27 outs. You play it like a real game. It's different situations to get your mind, thinking, okay, if the ball's hit to me, what do I do next?
Live pitching too? Regular live pitching or coach pitching?
We'll do, with those drills, it'll just be, coach will be hitting a fungo, but we will do simulated games, and we'll also do inter squads.
Okay, so what if the ball's hit to me? Now, on every pitch you're thinking,
Yes.
If it hits to me, how many guys on base, how many outs, what are we going to do with the ball? Simulated game situations for you too in Iowa?
Yeah, we do similar to what he was talking about, pretty much the whole practice schedule with the early work and getting there and doing defense. And we'll go through a couple times a week. We'll do like inter-squad scrimmages, or coach will control it, and we'll do simulated games too.
Good, good. Well, we're learning a lot about two Division I athletes and the Loggers. When we come back more, when we dig down deep into the schedule of a Logger right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports again today. This week, all week long, the spotlight on the Crosse Loggers. Two of the best, Judkins and Jordan Holladay. The first half of the show, we talked about being a D1 athlete. Well, your aspirations obviously are to go to the big league someday. But the life of a D1 athlete is nutrition, weight training, discipline in your schedule, and the mental approach. A lot of people struggle with that, starting with nutrition. A lot of young people watching the show, a lot of adults. How do you become a D1 athlete? I want my son, my daughter, and it really, there's a lot of components, but one of them is nutrition.
Well, one of the main keys is definitely having a good breakfast. A lot of people, they want to, have a lot of gains in the weight room, but they don't need a good breakfast. So you have to start off with a good breakfast. I'm sure you can ask any weight and conditioning coach out there, and they say, have breakfast.
As a D1 athlete, though, I imagine your meals are, there is a great deal of oversight by coaches. You have a nutritionist in the program. All D1 athletes have that. And do you eat as a team, and are there certain restrictions on what you can eat?
Well, on game days, we do eat as a team. We have stuff catered. But on regular days, we just go to a Doty, which is where the athletes eat. It's also the academic enrichment center, so right above each other, so we'll eat and then go to study hall. But there's nothing restriction-wise. However, we do have, they advise us to eat well. They tell us, protein shakes, have your meat and then vegetables. Try to stay away from a lot of carbs. It's kind of varies for guy to guy based on whether the coach wants you to gain weight or maintain or lose weight. So it varies.
The mental approach to the game too, Grant. I'm sure that was something that you addressed and others addressed for you when you were very young. In order to be a successful athlete, you need to mentally be focused and disciplined. What's your mental approach to being an athlete?
Yeah, I'd say the mental approach is just as important as the physical part of the game. Basically, you got to know that in baseball you're going to fail, and that's part of the game. And so you got to be able to bounce back and stay confident in yourself. So if things aren't going my way, I just tell myself that I'll go out there next time, and I'll get it next time. Or you just got to stay confident in your abilities, because you know you can do it, but you're going to fail once in a while, so you just got to go back out there with confidence.
And of course, academics. You're a business major. Let's fast forward your life. What are you going to do with that business major after you finish your career in the big leagues?
Yeah, I don't really know what I want to do right now. I know I enjoy the classes in business, so once I get to that stage in life, I'll make a decision.
And after you finish hitting the Triple Crown in baseball, Jordan, your major is sports and entertainment.
Yes, so probably if I do make it that far, which I hope I do, I'll probably retire for a little bit. But I still want to be working in sports. With my major, I have to do internships, so hopefully I can make a connection through those internships with certain teams, and if I'm in the majors and make it all that far, then my name would probably get me certain places. That'd be nice. But if not, then I'm really big into hunting and fishing. So I would, if I make it that far and have that much money, I'd probably just buy some land.
We'd all like to do that.
Be a hunting guide.
Well, again, today, Grant Judkins and Jordan Holladay, the Loggers. Let's talk about the Loggers. High expectations as a Logger. And Grant, you have pitched in 5 games to date. I think 23 innings. You've talk about what your success and how you feel about what you've done so far as a Logger.
Yeah, I'd say it's been a pretty good season so far. Every day I go out there just looking for a way to get a good start, good quality start in for the team and giving us a chance to win. And basically my whole thing has just been mixing speeds and trying to get hitters off balance. So basically any day I can go out there and just get them guessing is a good day for us.
How much in advance do you know whether you're going to throw or not?
They tell us a few days in advance. So they have the starting rotation set. So I'll know probably 3 days before I pitch what day I'll be pitching, so I can prepare myself for that.
Do you also a reliever?
I haven't been this summer, no. I've just been starting.
You know, a lot of young people talk about protecting the arm, number of pitches thrown. Of course, at the high school level, throughout the country, probably average of 100 pitches. In college, you monitor it at your level in the Northwoods Leagues, it's 100 pitches. Talk about real quickly preparing your arm, protecting your arm for young people. How you can become an elite Division I pitcher.
Yeah, preparation is very important. You got to stretch out nice. You got to get nice and loose before you go out and throw. You got to keep your arm healthy, because if your arm's hurting, that's going to lead to other problems and you won't be able to do your job. But I'd say stretching before is very important, and then just playing catch every day or pretty close to every day, keeping your arm in shape, and then even every once in a while I like to play long toss to strengthen my arm. And then since I'm a starting pitcher, I usually throw a bullpen in between starts so I can get my work in probably 3 days before I'm going to pitch next, and that just helps me keep my arm up and stay healthy.
And Jordan Holladay, again from the South Carolina Gamecocks, first base, some third base. You've played in 7 games, and you're batting .230, 5 doubles, 9 RBIs, and you're hitting the ball well. Do you comfortable with where you are so far?
I am. I'm not really necessarily. Numbers are great, but I've been working with Stu Peterson. I'm just trying to get my swing back to where it needs to be to compete at a higher level. So I'm going back to a mental thing. I'm just trying to mentally focus on what is going to get me better for the long run, and when success comes, that's great, but it's working every single day towards that goal to make your swing where it needs to be for the major league pitching.
Let's do a quick little, for our viewers, the perfect swing. Everyone's looking for the perfect swing. Launch angles, tracking the ball when it leaves the pitcher's hand to the bat, expecting certain pitches, your type of swing, your routine, the mechanics. What would be a very brief thing that you could share for our viewers, for young people, how to become a hitter like Jordan Holladay?
Well, first things first, you got to get your body in a good athletic hitting position. And then your elbow needs to be up with your bat above your head, not behind but above. So what that allows you to do is create an angle to get your hands going straight to the ball, not around, because what you're trying to do is hit the ball straight with backspin. If you hit the ball and you slice it, then you get around it, or if you slice it, then you're late, but if you hook it, then you get around it. The second thing you want to do is keep your elbow in slot, and then the third thing is you force your hip to the ball.
But the strength of hitting, I was watching your coach do some tutorials with you recently, and he was talking about, Stu Peterson, he was talking about the importance of from the waist down.
Yes, it's all about creating bat speed, and a lot of guys is once you get that front foot and you lock it out, it's like riding a bike. So if you do the back brake, you'll slow down, but if you hit the front brake, you'll stop. Same thing. You want your front leg to stop and lock out. That way it'll halt and create more bat speed. And bat speed equals exit speed.
Good tips, even for a weekend warrior that plays in a beer league, like maybe me. It'll help my swing. And as we end the show, though, it's an honor to have you guys in the La Crosse area because I know all about who you are and your character and so on. And all the players have host families, and yours is the Jill and Maury Welch from La Crosse.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun living with them for the second year. Their boys are a lot of fun to be around. We like to hang out and play video games or play sports during the day. It's been an honor to stay with them.
Well, it's an honor to have you in La Crosse too, staying with the Eiler family, who are friends of ours, and I know every year they host a logger.
Yes, they are very great. They make home feel not so far away. So that's very thankful and blessed to have them.
Good. Well, you're part of a very successful organization, as we talked about, and I'm sure down the line your goals are to have a great rest of the season, college career, and then into the big leagues, and that could very well happen, Jordan?
Yes, as a little kid, it's always been a dream of mine to be in the big leagues. From watching Chipper Jones, one of my favorite players, I used to go watch him every summer, and he was in the big leagues. My cousin's in AAA, so I know it can be done, and I've seen it firsthand of how you work up through the minors with hard work and dedication. So
and it really describes you, Grant, too. Someday we'll watch you in the big leagues.
That's the goal. Hope so.
Yeah. Well, you both have the drive, the determination, the character, the values, and the experience playing for a great organization. So I know I'll be at several games in the next month and a half and watching both of you. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. Again, our guests today, Grant Judkins and Jordan Holladay. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
Who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Well, we had some Cooley Region athletes selected to participate in All-Star games this past weekend. From Logan, Eli Szymanski was chosen to play in the soccer All-Star game at Whitewater on Saturday evening. Holman's Drew Becker and Craig Newsom Jr., along with Hilltopper's Noah Skifton, participated in the football All-Star game representing the North team. Representing the South team, Jeremy Anderson and Victor Ponterio from Melrose Mindoro, Ben Behan and Nathan Ryle from GET, Ryan Byrne from West Salem, and Garrett Kruger from the state champ Bangor Cardinals. Congratulations to all of those athletes. Well, we continue to broaden our list of guests and topics. If you have a thought, please contact us here at the studio, as we would love to hear from you. Check your local listings as we continue to bring you Knights of Thunder Racing every Thursday and every Sunday at 7 p.m. We have finalized our football schedule for fall 2018. Our first game is on Thursday, August 16th, as we travel to Eau Claire as the Red Raiders from Central play the Eau Claire North Huskies. Hope you can join us for that game and throughout the broadcast schedule here on KQEG. Next week, we profile Aquinas football and head coach Tom Lee as they prepare for their final season in the Mississippi Valley Conference. Hope you can join us for that interview. Thanks for joining us here on Seven Rivers Sports this week. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you will have an active and a healthy week.